You're going to throw your waste into my garden. Great. I think this might be a stretch, but I really can't think of a subreddit where this would fit. And I wanted to tell it. My uncle's neighbors really hate him for literally no reason, and one day he walked into his garden to find 3 plastic bags, the heavy duty ones you get dog food cattle feed in, lying on his lawn. And he knew immediately where they were from since he only has one neighbor, and the bags looked as if they had lazily been thrown over the shared fence. 2 of the bags were filled with leaf litter and the other was full of apples that looked like they had been slightly eaten by worms. Obviously the neighbors didn't want to eat them. My uncle, let's call him Flea, does all sorts of gardening in his spare time, and he thought that the neighbors threw him their waste stuff for him to use. So he went round to their house and asked if they were the ones who threw him the leaf litter and the apples. They shut the door in his face without answering. And at this point Flea realized they did it maliciously because they couldn't be bothered to take their waste anywhere. Most of you probably know that leaf litter is great for keeping soil healthy, and my uncle realizes this too, and decides to make compost from the leaves to use for his onions. He grows large onions for an annual competition. Don't ask. After he has a bag full of his homemade leaf litter fertilizer, he waits until one of the neighbors leaves for work, then goes out into his front garden and makes a big deal of spreading the fertilizer in front of the neighbor, exaggerating every slight movement and noise. With the apples, however, he decided to make, in combination with his own apples, some sort of beer wine cider hybrid, and he also made sure that at least one of the neighbors saw him using their apples throughout the process. The drink was pretty good in the end, if not a bit strong. The icing on the cake for me though, is when he neatly folded up the plastic bags and left them piled in the neighbor's garden with a rock on top of them, in which he etched the word more.